So you're hitting the gym consistently, you're training damn hard, you're grinding hard, but your body just isn't changing the way you expected. It's frustrating, right? I get it, I've been there. You think you're basically doing everything right, but something is just missing and you don't quite know what it is. In this episode, I want to break down why your effort isn't translating into results and the physique that you truly want and the subtle mistakes, training mistakes that are keeping you stuck. So if you're tired of training your ass off and still not seeing a leaner, more defined physique, this one is for you. So a few training mistakes that are basically keeping you stuck training and also what is happening outside the gym. First one being you're chasing numbers and you're basically chasing the logbook, right? This is a mistake I made way back when I was competing and I literally took my logbook into the gym every single session. And all I cared about was getting more reps or adding more weight from the previous session, every single session. And that literally left me busting my gut to constantly lift heavier. But it got to a point where, sure, I had a decent amount of muscle, but I couldn't get to that next level. Looking back, after investing in my knowledge and understanding why over the years, it's because, and I know so many of you made this mistake, and many of my clients when they come to me, right? It's because when you get to the point where you're kind of lifting your max weight, where are you going to go from there, right? You can't just keep lifting heavier and heavier. And it does get to the point where when you do lift too heavy, let's say in a hip thrust and you're lifting 200 kg or 160 kg, being there, your glutes, for example, don't actually end up doing as much work as you want them to. And you basically reduce the amount of contraction the muscle actually makes that you actually create in a muscle because you're literally just using every single muscle and probably joint as well. And that's where a lot of joint pain comes from, just to literally move the weights. So a lot of the time when clients come to me, and this is what I did on my own journey, I actually dropped the weights that I was using and I focused more on the execution, the tempo, the control. And I actually made sure the muscle I was trying to target was doing all of the work. When you step into the gym and you focus on actually purposefully putting tension through the muscle you're trying to create, rather than just lifting heavier and heavier, and you focus on what your body is doing, not what the weight is doing and how much you're lifting, that's honestly where my physique completely changed. Many of my clients too. And you basically build a more balanced physique and you reduce a lot of joint pain. And when you contract muscle better, it also helps you to get leaner and to lose body fat more effectively as well. And one of the other main reasons why you might be that person showing up super consistent with your training day in, day out, maybe 5-6 days a week, but you're not really leveling up, building more muscle, losing more body fat, is because you think you're pushing hard, right? Again, I've been there, many of my clients. You think you're pushing hard, but the reality is you are complacent. When you run things by yourself, when you coach yourself inside and outside the gym, it's super easy just to literally get a bit complacent and take your foot off the gas. Sometimes it literally takes someone from the outside, whether it's a coach or a friend or a mentor or someone who's basically at a higher level than you, to come in and to actually point out, right, okay, your training's at 80% here, right? You're actually consistently leaving 20% in the tank, right? And if you actually train at 100%, where your physique actually could be. It's so easy to basically convince yourself that you're pushing yourself as hard as you can. And I see this time and time again, right? You're probably stopping a set when you've got 2-3 more reps in the tank. And those 2-3 more reps is literally where your next level lies. So what's going to help you? What helped me massively is, getting someone from the outside and taking your progress from kind of you being on cruise control to actually being more uncomfortable and chasing the extra level of intensity, maybe through weight, maybe through tempo, maybe through pushing those few reps out, maybe through getting a training partner. But you're most likely convincing yourself you're training damn hard and you're putting absolutely everything in. Are you really? It's being super honest with yourself. Another major reason why you're maybe not leveling up is because you also lose focus when you leave the gym. This is probably the hardest thing to stay accurate and consistent and disciplined with, is your nutrition. For most of you, and again, I used to be exactly the same, training is the easier bit, and we're all different. And some of us training is easier, some of us nutrition is easier, some of us the recovery is easier, whatever it might be. But 90% of my clients, myself in the past, nutrition is the hardest bit. So let's say you right now, you're in shape, but you want to get more lines through your physique, you want to get a little bit leaner, but you struggle to kind of stay as consistent with your food outside the gym. It's literally as simple as that, right? And you're wondering, or you're telling yourself, asking yourself, why am I not really able to get that kind of extra lean look that I'm looking for? And the reality is, again, you're showing up to the gym, but are you bringing that same structure and that same discipline outside the gym? Do you actually know what to eat, when to eat? Have you actually got a coach to be able to tell you that? Are you just simply winging it? And linked into that as well, biggest challenge that I see, biggest mistake is you eat clean, right? You're not that person to eat junk. You're not that person to go and out on the weekend, drink alcohol, and get drunk, or just eat rubbish, right? You're already eating 3 balanced meals per day. You're already eating clean, and you've already got the lifestyle and the discipline, but you don't know how much you're eating, right? You have no clue about calories and how much you should eat. The reality is eating clean will get you in shape, right? But if you want to go to that next level, which if you're a high achiever is probably something you want to achieve, then it is understanding calories and not living like a robot, but having that awareness and that kind of strategy in place. And another major reason as well as to why you might not be getting the results you want from your training is program hopping, right? And changing your program every 5 minutes. Maybe you're someone who gets bored a little easy in your training, right? And you like to try new things and feel like you're leveling up. This is a huge mistake, right? My clients who have the best physiques, and myself included, I've been doing similar movements for many years, right? It's not changing every 2 seconds. It's getting better at the basics, right? If you go to any fantastic coach, they will most likely coach you on very similar movements. But the game changer here is really how you actually perform the movements. Again, let's say, for example, you're doing a hip thrust, right? And you're not really feeling your glutes and you're not really seeing any growth in return. If you actually completely change how you're performing it and you actually understand the position, the form, the thought process, where your glutes should be contracting, the pauses, all those things, you can literally be doing the exact same movement, but by changing how you are performing it, you will have a completely different set of glutes in a year's time. I see this over and over again. So it's not always about switching things up because you're bored, right? If you're someone who gets bored easily, you're not finding ways to improve in the movements that you're actually doing. That is what will literally unlock the next level of your progress. And the last most important point as well, again, especially for you high achievers who you like to be in the gym every day, it feels like your happy pill and your day just feels a little bit off without training, right? Again, I've been there. However, a common mistake I see is basically you're overtraining and you're under recovering. And that's the very thing which is keeping you stuck, right? You're not able to build a muscle, you're not able to get any leaner. And what do I mean by overtraining, right? A lot of you will be training even 6 days per week. 5 is actually quite high, but 6, realistically, can you actually, number one, train hard enough that you need to basically to be able to actually progress 6 days a week? Probably not. Me personally, right now, I train 4 days a week, right? There was a point where I trained 6 and my nervous system was in the bin on that 6th day. Even 5 for me is pushing it. I personally, and for many of my clients, I set them at 4 days per week because you're able to then recover better between sessions. You're able to give your sessions more and actually progress in terms of the strength, and your overall recovery, your nervous system regulation is in a much better place. So this is where understanding that less is more, and that mindset shift from going from more is better basically, and actually understanding that less is more, and training epically and intensely 4 days a week is going to allow you to take that step forwards in your physique that you actually want, right? So it's trying to get used to having those days away from the gym, pumping the energy or extra time that you have into other areas of your life, and being willing to actually step back, which resting, again, it's probably the most difficult part for us high achievers. But once you allow yourself to, and you focus on other things in your life, you'll honestly see so much more progress and enjoy your sessions so much more. So all in all, if this does relate to you right now and you're kind of stuck, pretty in shape, training 5-6 days a week, you feel like you're putting everything into it, it's not that you're not capable of more. You're probably making similar mistakes without realizing it. And with the right guidance, accountability if you need it, and more knowledge, don't think where you are right now is your limit. There's always another level. Thanks for watching or listening to Made for More. If today's episode hit home, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who can relate and might be in the same shoes and needs to hear this. And if you're ready to take things to the next level, check the description below to book in a call and connect with me further. Catch you in the next episode.